You got something in your teeth? Are you flossing?
No, I had a popcorn earlier and had a little kernel in the back of one of my molars.
You get it?
Did.
Good.
Flipped it right in your floor.
Thank you.
That's what friends are for, right?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is John Edwards, and with me is Zeke Baker, and together we make the Dad's Drinking Bourbon. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, thank you for making us a part of your day. How are you, Zeke Baker?
Fair to Midland.
Fair to Midland? What's wrong?
Oh, nothing.
It's a good day.
It's a good baseline.
We are tasting Four Roses 2019 limited edition small batch today. How can you go wrong?
Well, until we actually get to tasting it, I'm going to be, baseline. But I got a feeling once we get into this, it's going to get exponentially better.
They normally do when we have a review show. I want to let you guys know that it is Bourbon Heritage Month. We have a little bit of a stockpile, so you may see some extra episodes here from us here and there. And what we're going to try and do is get some quick hitters out for you so that we can get right to the tasting. We'll cut down on the banter. So that being said, let me get the admin notes out of the way of this episode. On September 27th, we will be at the Bacon and Barrel Festival at the Green Door Gourmet. There's going to be over 20 restaurants making a bacon or pork themed item. And there's going to be over 50 different whiskeys to try. Go ahead and see us. It's to benefit Nashville's parks. There's a bunch of good stuff there. Go to baconandbarrel.com, get your tickets, and Zeke and I will be doing some fun stuff along the way. Also, want to let you know this episode is sponsored by CaskCartel.com, the Amazon of the spirits industry. What these guys are doing, they are changing the industry standard by allowing you to connect to retailers that will ship liquor directly to your house. So if you're like Zeke, you're lazy, you're sitting at home, you don't want to go out to the liquor store, you can go to CaskCartel.com. You can order your Smirnoff vodka, your Wheatley vodka, whatever it is, the stuff that you're drinking on the side, Zeke, that you're not telling us about. Go to CaskCartel.com, but they also have whiskey, and they send out whiskey to their followers on Instagram. You can get some samples, figure out what they're doing. Last month, they sent us Blood Oath Packed 5. This month, they sent us David Nicholson Reserve. We're going to be doing a review on that sometime soon, but they give back to the people that use their service. CaskCartel.com is changing the industry standard by allowing you to be lazy and sit on your couch, watch TV, and get liquor shipped right to your door. So whatever you need, whether or not it's a clear spirit or a dark spirit, they have what you need. Check them out, CaskCartel.com.
Well,
You're lazy?
I'm a pickers man. Shop and support local for my tater juice, thank you. And for 2, which one honestly are you more excited about? The pork/bacon or the bourbon?
Both. Probably the bacon.
Damn right, son. Don't lie.
We drink a lot of whiskey, so I am excited to get the bacon.
Man, I can't believe you tried to fake that one.
I
These people have seen both of us. Come on, John.
I
don't like the bacons. I'm a vegan.
If we were side by side, which one of these two likes bacon more? Which one do you think they're going to point to?
That's why you're over there. I don't know. I'm going to be squeamish all of a sudden.
Both. Looking at these two, I think they both like bacon. One just runs more than the other one.
Exactly.
Oh, well, that being said, let's get right into it. We're not going to make this a long episode. We're not going to make you wait a long time to get the payoff here because we know that you all are waiting to hear what we think about 2019 Four Roses limited edition small batch. Our boy Troy up in Wisconsin, he was like on our Facebook group, when are you guys going to do this review? I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Well, Troy, the wait is over. So 2019 Four Roses limited edition small batch is a blend of 4 different Four Roses recipes. There's 11-year OESV, there is 15-year OESV, there is 15-year OESK, and 21-year-old OBSV. I don't know the percentages off of the top of my head. I wish I did. That makes this one come in at 112.6 proof, 56.3 ABV, with an MSRP of $140. The only other thing I will say is for those of you that know Four Roses, V's and K's are pretty standard. V is going to be the standard 100 proof recipe that you get in a regular single barrel. The E is going to be the low rye mash bill. That is the 20% rye mash bill. And the B is going to be the high rye, which is 35% rye. Ultimately, this is more of a low rye offering. I can't imagine, Zeke, that the 21-year-old OBSV, I can't imagine there's a ton of it in here.
I mean, I would assume it's no more than a smidge. And off the top of my head, from what I can remember of some previous blends that had definitely a hyper-aged product in there, it was...
There you are with that word again.
You know it. I've had plenty of folks say they felt the same way, John. Thank you. But no, I mean... without citing anything specific, the previous, small batch limited editions that had anything that old in it, it was definitely, I think, like under 5% or so, maybe.
Yeah. I think Al Young that had the really, really old stuff in there, hyper aged. It wasn't that high of a percentage.
Well, I'm sure you don't need a whole lot for it to make a difference. It's like other stuff that we've tinkered around in the past. There's just certain things in blending that pull more weight than others, and I can imagine any juice that's been in the barrel that long, it's going to make an immediate impact, no matter how small of a portion it has in the overall blend.
No, but I would have loved to have seen how they were actually going through it, because you have to think, it's like, what is the Mendoza line? Where is the point where all of a sudden it tips and then it's like, oh, too much oak. That 21-year-old just took over the whole thing. It's like, what percentage was it? Oh, it's good. We have hints of oak. Oh, too oaky.
Yeah, and I would guess, it was literally just like a ship capsizing. Okay, boom, too much. Sorry.
Oh, John got on the boat. Yeah. All right, so let's go through this. Let's not wait any longer. Right after this commercial break, we will be back. I'm kidding. We have no commercial break. Go ahead, Zeke. What did you get on the nose, taste, and finish of this limited edition small batch?
This nose was very unique to me, very intriguing. At first, what I put down was what reminded me of clementines, maybe. There's definitely a fall theme, and you'll pick it up as I get through this. Again, I didn't want to say citrus because I think that's too bland of a word. To me, this was definitely like a clementine type aroma. Behind that, it reminded me literally of fall leaves. Growing up in the South in the country, it's just what you smell, in probably another month or so from now if you take a walk out in the woods. Deep down, there was some really good brown sugars, but like I say, it was layered below the first two things. Circling back around to it, I laughably got a blend of what I put down as ballpark peanuts and chicory. I don't know what that would actually feel like if they were together, but it was kind of one of those scents, again, kind of back to fall, folks' homes all decorated, spruced up, maybe Thanksgiving-ish. Definitely like that kind of ballpark peanut smell when you open a fresh bag of them. And then, if you're in a home of chicory, depending on, I guess, whatever scents they have for that. Beyond that, I really thought to sum it up, it was a nice blend of navels, molasses, and oak. The oak was definitely there at all times, and the other aromas kind of danced around some. But saying that it was there at all times, it wasn't overwhelming or overbearing.
That's fair.
Palate-wise, it definitely, I put down, takes a second to launch. When I first got a sip, I was like, okay. And then literally just a big rush hit the mid part of the palate. Worked through it a couple more times. Told John, I was like, we got to push this to the tip of the tongue. Try it right there. I definitely seemed to get a much more reflective palate of what I picked up on the nose as far as those flavors. But kind of back to that big rush feel, about 2/3 back of the palate, it just gets really big, a little warm, but I really didn't attribute it to being a rye type heat. It wasn't a burn or a singe. I think it was the oak, and I think the oak, I guess I would say, was in the right place, so to speak. Seeing as it didn't taste, too old, too, bitter's definitely not there. And it's not like, you're just chewing on bark either. As it gets to the back palate and goes into the finish, it just really works itself up into a nice big pour. I didn't necessarily get a ton of flavors, dancing all over the place on it. But I think I kind of summed it up with, it's much more of a feel than an array of flavors. But that feels really good. And with everything else that came off the nose, I would have to guess that with a little bit more air time, those are going to develop, they're going to surface, and front to back, this is definitely going to be a pretty well-rounded pour. Looking at the notes that they provided us with the sample kit, what kind of stood out to me the most was, especially talking about the palate and the finish, was mellow barrel flavors. Just says leading to a rich, soft, and lasting finish. I felt like that could not be more spot on. Not to, beat too much of a dead horse, but again, the oak that's there, it's really in a unique place for me. I can't think of too many things that I can compare it to. Even when we had the 15-year OESV that was released for Father's Day, the oak on that was just different, and it wasn't too far aged, but man, talking about that, line of teetering on something, it was borderline of just too much oak, I felt like. But the way this is represented, it definitely comes across much different than any of the Four Roses I can really think of off the top of my head as well.
I have to agree with you, and this was almost one of those things for me where the first time I had it opposed to the second time I had it, and don't get me wrong, everyone, it wasn't like I had it another day. I'm talking about today. I had about a half an ounce, and then I took a break, and then I had another half an ounce. And it was a complete kind of night and day. So the first one I had, I think the nose was a little bit green, and it was still opening up. And it's not a citrus, but it green more like you're in a field, and it's that fresh green thing to it. But I said baking spice, vanilla, hints of oak. And that was on that first kind of nosing and sipping. And then after my palate kind of woke up, I think, a little bit, what I thought was the baking spice and what the predominant nose to me was maple syrup and brown sugar. And it was just rich. And the only other thing that I could think of that's close to that is I remember Lincoln Road did a Four Roses pick that was like straight maple syrup earlier in the year. Like it was like tail end of last year, maybe beginning of this year, it was straight maple syrup. I love the nose. Love the nose on this one. It is kind of funny, though, because the nose is bakey and syrupy, and then I had a sip of it, and it was like berries and oak. It was a little bit lighter than what the nose would make me think it was going to be. Like, I was thinking it was going to be this super, super rich pour. I think the mouthfeel is crazy on this one. Like, my whole mouth I felt like just caramel and all that other stuff you would expect, but then there was a berry and oak, maybe like a blueberry, blackberry aspect to it. I got the exact same thing you did, where kind of 3/4 of the way down, it wasn't all the way down, it was still kind of up in the top of the throat. That's where the heat started, but it wasn't an off-putting heat. It wasn't like, damn, this is hot. It was like, oh, it's warming up a little bit. That's where the tingles kind of coming in. And it wasn't a rye tingle that would come in at the front of your palate. It came in more as it was going down. And then the finish lingered really nicely. A little bit of oak, a little bit of spice in there. But man, that is all of the things that I like to look for in a Four Roses all together.
I think there's a lot of oak attributes in there, just not a lot of oak to the profile.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's a little bit of oak. To me, that's what I attribute so much of that, back end where it gets much more robust, much bigger, oily, and thick. And a little bit of that heat comes in too. But like I say, it's not like a rye heat. And, it's not chewing on bark either. But
it's not dry. No. It's not a dry oak. There is still enough in the mouthfeel that you're not going to leave this one going like...
Yeah.
It's a full balanced pour that has hints of oak. And I wrote down... The oak is there, but it's not predominant. It's complementary, not a defining feature.
No, and especially for, to me, any of the folks that are much more on a, experience or feel kind of thing versus, putting down or pinpointing notes. Feel-wise, man, this is going to knock it out of the park.
It is enough oak to let you know it's mature, but not enough to make you think it's in a walker. Like it's like middle-aged, right? It's not in the home yet. It's not there. It's 21 years old, but you're not feeling like it's elderly. It's not like that. It's more
not musty or anything.
But it's not a kid. It's not a teenager.
Not at all.
Well, I'm a big fan. I mean, is this really easy? Or are we both a buy?
Definitely. And like I say, I mean, they didn't quite get a ton of the floral aspect that some roses will have, but with everything that comes off in that nose, and considering you've got 11 being the youngest, 2 15s and a 21, airtime's going to have to show some light on those. I mean, that's just the reality of it, I think.
I'm with you. Well, Zeke and I are both a buy. I want to let you know and thank you to distilleryproducts.com for providing us our glassware that we use for all of our tasting. If you're in the industry, you probably already know distilleryproducts.com has great glasses for you. They have Glencairns. They have the Irish Whiskey Rua glass. They're the only wholesale place in the United States that will allow you to engrave the neat glass. Go ahead and find them at distilleryproducts.com. If you're in the industry, you want me to hook you up with them, send us an email at dadsdrinkybourbon@gmail.com. I will make sure to hook you up with distilleryproducts.com. Zeke, the folks can find us on Facebook at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Instagram at Dad's Drinking Bourbon, Twitter at Bourbon Dads. Join our Facebook group, answer a couple questions. We will let you in. Please rate and review us on iTunes honestly, just like we rate and review whiskey honestly. Find us on your favorite podcast app. Zeke, where else can the folks find us?
Sorry, I was enjoying a little bit left in the glass there. One other final note.
Too many notes. Is anyone still listening at this point?
Really like embodies fall to me. Like this is fall.
The maple syrup and baking spice and the brown sugar.
I mean, it's going to come out at the perfect time.
If you still listened all the way to this point, make sure you say the code word pineapple.
And we can be found in Nashville, Tennessee.
Cheers.
Thanks. Ciao.